Welcome back to another episode of the PokeStop Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Pra, as always, joined by the amazing co-host of the PokeStop Podcast, Thad Wayne. Thad, how are you doing today? The people have been asking if you've been doing okay.
You know, Zach, the people are right to worry. But I'm doing okay.
Work in retail.
It's a bit crazy out there, but I'm getting by.
It's a little crazy. We had our locals. We had our first league challenge at our league on Monday.
Yeah.
And I think it went pretty good. I feel like it was pretty smooth. It was like we have like a lot of newer players, so like they're still figuring out the list thing. So we had a couple people who showed up, like did like the classic like 629, and I need to like fill a list out still, which was like
we had a few of those.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely something we'll have to work on. But I think that's like any new player, you have to go through those growing pains. And speaking of new players, if you're a new player, we do have a video on the channel for how you should, just like some tips and stuff we had as people who have been playing for, over a decade combined between the two of us. But just like some things you should know as a new player to not make people hate you. So
it's important to make friends.
Yeah, having friends is good, or else you're just
so we met
playing stall and like control decks all the time. And then no one wants to be your friend.
Feels bad.
Feels really bad. Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. Like we met like a year and a half ago, and now we have like a podcast and everything. It's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon does that to people.
It does that to people for sure. I know you were busy our Wednesday locals, but I went to a locals on Wednesday and got slammed, which is like weirdly not something that happens to me all the time, mainly just because like I just play Bolt, but like also like right now Bolt has I feel like Bolt is in kind of like a really good meta. It just has like a few less played matchups that are really bad, especially like in our area.
It's a rogue stuff.
I kept finding them. Yeah. I kept finding them on Wednesday. But it is what it is. It's all good.
To make this conversation even better, I was gonna play Bolt on Wednesday if I could have gone.
That would have been hilarious. Yeah, it just felt like Bolt hate was all around. And people were just I'm tired of Bolt winning. It's gotta go down eventually.
Which now that you mention it, I think if I go any Wednesday in the next few Wednesdays, I'm not playing Bolt. I'm just gonna play.
I think you play Bolt hate. I think that's kind of like it weirdly, I feel like, fluctuates from like Bolt turbo playing and then hate on those exact decks. Like it is like which coin, we're flipping the coin. Is it heads or tails this week?
Yeah, I mean, I could just stick with my good old trusty Charizard.
Not bad. I mean, Charizard be Charizarding, as they say.
Except for when you get Badooed for like 8 turns.
Yeah, literally. That just feels like that. I feel like that card is just like your worst nightmare. It's like
it
if
actually
they can get
is.
that lock to set, like it is so bad. Because you just have so many items.
Bad.
And like you need them set up, and like once you set up, it doesn't really matter that much. Like I feel like you can usually live off of like supporters.
Yeah, I don't care about getting mid-game item locked. I don't give a
It's that early game where like if you just can't set up like a Pidgeot or a Charizard, like you're just like, fuck. Yeah, for sure. The first thing I did want to talk about today was we have had kind of a weird thing coming up. So the World Championships obviously are about a month away, and there was some people talking on Twitter this past week about moving worlds. And the reason, I think we actually before the podcast looked at this, and of the last 15 World Championships, if you include the 2 that have already been announced but haven't happened yet, with Anaheim this year and San Francisco next year, of the previous 15 Worlds dating back to 2010, 12 of them have been in America, and then 13 of them have been in either America or Canada. Which I think it was 2013 in Vancouver, and then last year in Honolulu, being the only differences that weren't that were either North America or U.S. territory. But we have it was kind of an interesting idea. Is like, should we move worlds? Because a lot of people are having visa issues getting to the United States, and obviously there's a lot of political reasons and motivations
Yeah, we're
behind
not gonna.
that.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into the politics part of it
Yeah, for
because that
sure.
is.
Just like from a fairness perspective to Pokemon
Yeah,
players who don't live in America and may live in less easy countries that are harder to get a visa into America from. Is it fair to those players who are going to actually have like a really serious problem getting into the country? Is it fair that worlds are in those countries, right? Like we wouldn't, if people were, we wouldn't do worlds in North Korea, you know,
it's
for
also true.
very obvious reasons because it's difficult to get into. So, like, obviously, I'm not comparing the two countries, but if players aren't able to get to the country of worlds, should worlds not happen in those countries? And I think we both kind of are on the same page with this one. I think it should. I'm going to be honest, as someone who lives in America and I like not having to travel far for Pokemon, but like at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for the majority of the player base.
Yeah,
And at some point that might come to a head.
yeah, and I would say just to add a little bit to this is, I just don't think that like, and honestly, I was thinking about this a couple days ago. We were talking, you and I were talking about like world cap, right? Like, why do we have like why the 125, why the 135? And I was actually thinking about this, and up until the last 2 years, China was not a part of the World Championship circuit, and
Yeah,
now it is. And now they are qualifying, and they have the largest player base outside of Japan, and arguably even in general. We don't really get the numbers or like any of their tournament results
yeah,
because it's not like kind of posted anywhere specific.
sure.
But their last tournament had 10,000 people.
That's insane. Yeah, I
So
mean, at
like,
some point, do we kind of bring back OCIC and just make it like the Asia International Championships?
yeah, I mean, like again, like this, that's gonna be the issue we're gonna run into with. And again, I'm just not getting into the political aspect of this, but like, I don't think we're ever gonna see worlds happen in China.
I
But they
think
are
we
gonna be
could.
start becoming.
I don't think anytime
We
soon,
could,
but I could see in like 5 years, like Worlds 2030 in Beijing. I
yeah,
wouldn't be
that'd be sick.
surprised,
That would be kind of
especially
sick.
like yeah, if the Chinese player base continues to grow and maybe that like kind of helps other countries get a scene like South Korea, Vietnam, Laos, any of these countries that border China are in that region. As more product becomes available, more people are playing, more people are doing things with the
Yeah,
game, which I think is, I think the vast majority of people would agree that's a net positive for the game.
yeah. I mean, the
But
game
like
is growing globally.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like it's gone from I feel like 10 years ago it was pretty much Japan and America, and we were starting to see kind of a foothold being grown in like uh, Latin America, in Europe, a little bit in Australia. But I think now it is becoming this global game, and I think honestly, like just looking at it, I think the next region that is kind of going to explode, I think it's going to be parts of Africa. I think a lot of those countries are just like outside looking in. I feel like are on the way to where they can have more more things and more venues that can hold these events, or the player base in those areas. You're gonna have more people who have the ability to get on a plane to play Pokemon.
Yeah, I do not disagree with this at all.
So that's gonna be an interesting thing, like to kind of look at over the next like 10 years. Is like what what what's gonna happen, right? Like how are we gonna how is the game of Pokemon globally going to change from the last 15? And I'm pretty sure every Worlds before 2010 was America. So I think at this point we're at almost 20 years of Worlds. Um, and we've had pretty much nothing but American locations.
Yeah, it's either been like
America or or Canada, essentially, right? And then we had one in London and one in Tokyo.
yeah, but like
So
before 2010, it was all either Orlando or Hawaii. There was
yeah,
only
and
two venues.
and the game has grown at an exponential rate in the past few years, let alone the past 20 years.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we went from regionals being in hotel ballrooms that seat 200 people to oh, this convention center's not big enough for us. And I'm like, that's absurd.
it's actually kind of crazy.
We're like, sorry, your 5,000 person convention center is a little too small for our community. So we're going to have to look somewhere else. I mean, that is absurd.
I mean, that's just the state of the game that we're
that
in.
is crazy. Yeah, which I think, and we had this conversation a few weeks ago, but I think that is something that will kind of, I think, could be helped by having more smaller events and kind of doing more of a states model and more of a regional locking model. But that's
Yeah,
definitely
I mean,
an interesting thing we'll have to see with the game, and where does that go?
yeah, but I mean, I would say at this point, I think it's worth considering next year to get Worlds out of the U.S.
Yeah, and I don't know if
I
they'll
think
be
we're
able
obviously
to.
too. What was that?
I think San Francisco we're kind of locked, just because to move that big of an event is a lot of work and something that needs to happen. Like the reason we knew San Francisco was happening 2 years, 2 years before the event was happening, is because that's how far out advanced these events need to be planned to avoid them being just logistical shit shows.
Yeah. So I think going forward, our next one or two should be definitely outside the U.S.
I think they will be too, if I'm being 100% honest.
I mean, I kind of think a or Toronto Worlds would be kind of sick.
Toronto would be lit. Honestly, one in Italy I think would be fire. Do a Rome Worlds, just so people can go to Italy. Honestly, I think that would be
I
really
think it's all
cool.
going to depend on where the next region is,
That's fair.
right? Because
I mean,
we
there's
went
even just
to.
looking at um Europe. There's just so many cool cities. I mean, Munich. Um, crap. There was one I was just looking at and I lost it. Honestly, I would love to go to Berlin. I think that's just a really cool city.
Yeah. Well, it's funny
Vienna.
because the reason we went to London was just simply because of Scarlet and I'm sorry, Sword and Shield being based in Galar, which is based in London or
Oh,
based
I
on
see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
United
yeah.
Kingdom. So and then we got um Scarlet and Violet,
Yeah.
which what is Scarlet and Violet based off of? Is that France?
Hold that thought. 14 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So cut 14-10 to 15-10 basically.
Okay.
All right. What were we talking about? The Scarlet Valley region.
Yeah, I was gonna fill you in on my somewhat theory from why Scarlet and Violet was not in France.
Go.
So Scarlet and Violet was, I think, based off France, which due to COVID, I don't think we were able to. That Pokemon wasn't able to lock down a venue for because France had some of the strictest post-COVID like rules.
Yeah, I think a lot of like European countries did have like a lot more strict travel, which I think is just because like they're a very landlocked continent, and like especially in like the EU, in those countries that are involved in Europe, there is a lot more free travel, just because they're all like kind of the same country, but like not really.
More interconnected for sure.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But I think that the reason why we didn't get France, like we didn't get a World Championships in France, is strictly because of post-COVID rules and laws that France had put in
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
place.
for sure.
Like just before they were able to book a venue, because London was supposed to be in 21 when Sword and Shield got released,
Sure.
but because of COVID, everything in 22 or 20,
It was
just 20 that we missed, right?
20 and 21.
We missed 20 and 21.
We definitely missed 20. I think we also missed 21 because didn't Pokemon in person come back like late 21?
I don't remember.
Um, we did not have a Worlds in 21.
Yeah, we did not.
2019 was the last one, and then we didn't have it. 22 was London.
Yeah, so 21 was supposed to be London, which made me think that 23 was supposed to be France, but they couldn't lock it in because of COVID.
Yeah, that's fair.
So they just made it probably the best thing they could, which was Japan.
Yeah.
And then they went back to like, traditional Hawaii World Championships in Hawaii or World Championships in Hawaii.
I agree.
But it's crazy to actually look. I actually just pulled up the Limitless page for Worlds. It's crazy. Like every Worlds is like less than 300 people. Every single one since like 2010 at the very least.
And then what was
And
last
then
year?
and then 24 had 1147.
Why can't that be the number?
I mean, honestly,
Was
that
Worlds
feels like a
last year
good
not good?
number.
Was Worlds last year not good? I mean, like anytime I hear the argument for like, well, like they used to be small, I'm like, yeah, so are the regionals. Like, we
Uh,
have a Worlds to work off of at the, the hyperinflated current player base we have now. Like, we can go off of that. Like, if you think that was too big, right? If you're like, well, that was way too big, okay, let's scale it down to 800 from there, right? Let's not go to 200 or whatever immediately, right? Like, let's slowly walk it in until we find that sweet spot. Like,
yeah, I mean, we have more better players now.
yeah, I mean, I personally think we should have 15. I think Worlds should be 1,500 people. That's just me. Like, you're
I
still
don't disagree.
requiring a lot of. I mean, like, what was the number last year? 600.
Yeah, 600 or 650, something like that.
You can't. I mean, and like assuming what was it? What was the cup? And was it 6 and 6
For what?
for your locals finishes? It was 6 cups, 6 challenges.
Yeah, it was 6 and 6.
So that's 300 and 390. So 200 of your points had to come from regionals. At least 210. I mean, that's not. I mean,
It's
that
not nothing.
you're having limitless pages at that point, right? Like you're not getting that number without getting a day two or multiple day twos.
Yeah.
That's just my
And
thing.
I feel like if you're able to like top 64 or even top 30, I would say if you're able to top 64 a regional, you should probably be in. You should probably be a
Yeah, like you
consideration for
top
Worlds.
64 regional and you max out your locals. And we also need to think about it too. Like that 600 is more like this year's 500 because you have 2 less cups. That's 100 points. And 2 less challenge. That's 130 less points you can get at locals. Which, like, I think a lot of people would agree, myself included. And I think you would agree with this too, Thad. That like it's a lot easier to win a locals than it is to win a regional, right? Or like day 2 a regional. Just
Yes.
because the competition's better, there's more players, there's more variance, there's more weird matchups you can hit, weird things that can happen, especially in a best of 3 format. So, like, I don't know, why not make the numbers like I think if you would have kept the number 600 and kept the 4-4 versus the 6-6 with your locals, I think that would have been fine. You still would have required people to get, I think, 300 points at majors is a fair bar for like getting a Worlds invite.
Yeah.
Right, because then even if we want to have the conversation of like, well, like what if you get like a fluke tournament where like you just so happen to play the meta super well and just hit really good matchups? One, I think that earns you a trip to the World Championships, right? Like you have shown the ability to play an off meta deck well enough to win. What is that, like 11 out of 13 games?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. To me, that if you don't think that should be it, then please drop your Limitless page in the comments so we can all see your stellar record of performance at the Pokemon trading card game. So,
Oh yeah, I'll grade your performance for sure.
yeah, let's see your page. Let's see if you have a bigger Limitless page than me, which, for the record, is one event. So, put up or shut up, I guess, kiddo. I don't know.
But yeah, no, I mean, I would say to sort of wrap up the Worlds conversation, I just think that moving locations, I think going forward makes a lot more sense, especially while we're in this political climate. And maybe once we're out of this little era,
Sure.
we consider going
Who
back.
knows? Yeah, I think also like the game has globally expanded, right? This isn't, like we were saying earlier, it's not just a U.S. Japan game anymore. It is a global phenomenon.
Yeah, it's not U.S., Japan, and then like the
Pockets in various regions.
yeah, and then like the Limitless group from EU, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So take
Yeah,
that for what it's worth.
I remember it used to be a big deal if your locals ran a tournament more than once a month.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was a big deal when like, shops locally started doing tournaments. It was like, thank God, there's finally something. And especially like pre-COVID, there were not Limitless Mickeys. Like you couldn't go on Limitless website and find a tournament at pretty much any time you wanted.
Yeah.
So
the game's changed a lot, and I think that we need to adapt with it.
I 100% agree with that. Game changed, so do we. Absolutely. But speaking of the game changing, Thad, we are actually about a week away from a new meta. We have
We sure are.
Black Bolt and White Flare coming out next Friday on the 18th. And that will be our Worlds format and the format for the beginning of next year. So we'll have the World Championships in August. And then following that, before we get our mega set, we are going to have we have the World Championships. Then we have the Frankfurt Regionals in Germany, the Monterey Regionals in Mexico, and then Pittsburgh Regionals in America. So we'll have at least three tournaments. Do we know when the first mega set is coming out? Do we know a date for that?
The end of September, like September 26th or something.
So probably, yeah. The next regional after Pittsburgh is it's Milwaukee, and then the Brazil regional. They're both the same day, so I'm assuming that would be like the first one of those like first weekend set legal regionals.
It is, yeah.
Always interesting to see like what people cook from something when there's literally no information.
Yeah, I mean it's an all new block.
We'll have 4 Yeah, a lot of new stuff coming out of there for sure. So we'll have 4 regionals in this format, which I think is pretty impactful for a format where over half of it there's no tournament but one, and it's an invite-only tournament. So
Yeah.
definitely going to be very interesting to see what people are cooking out of there. You've been playing a bit of the new format. What do you like? What are your? Give me like a deck that is overperforming what you expected, a deck that's performing as you expected, and then a deck you think is underperforming.
I will say I think Golden Go is overperforming. You get the new Genesect engine, and that is really, really good with the combo of Genesect Air Balloon. Performing as I would expect is just Dragapult,
Sure.
right? It doesn't really gain anything from the set, but other decks don't. Its hard counters don't, I think, get a lot better. And I
Sure.
think Guardy is it's just not performing the way I want it. The Guardy Jelly. So if you're not aware of like Gardevoir playing Jellicent's EX from the new set, no,
Watch our
it's an
last
item
podcast.
lock. Yeah, watch our last podcast. But I think the deck is just a really, really clunky. And when we were playing it, it just not you and I, but like when my
When you
friend
were
and I were
testing it.
playing it, yeah, it just man, it just your hands are always so weird. You end up, ditching really important resources really early, and you're scrounging to get things back, and you're barely staying in the game.
For sure.
It's a tough deck to play. I think that in order for Guardy Jelly to be really good, you just need to be that good of a player. So for like the average player, I think it's underperforming, like myself, but like it could be way better in the hands of like a Henry Chow.
Sure.
So like maybe it's really good, but in our testing, I mean, we played probably 12 to 15 games with it,
Mm-hmm.
and it just never felt that good.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
I think a lot of
I think it
people,
went 50
myself
50.
included, like Jellicent looks really good. And like just on paper, item lock plus taking 2
Tool
prize
lock.
knockout. Yeah, item lock, tool lock, plus you can Iono late game. Plus you can put a 280 or a guy that you need to hit 280 to knock out. That is gonna be really crazy. So I think a lot of decks are gonna, kind of have to like figure out a way around item lock really fast. And I think a deck like Golden Go is kind of perfectly designed to do that. Especially just with like your onboard draw, there's going to be so much, especially with the new Genesect EX coming out, where I can just search out my Goldangos, go and load them up, start drawing cards, start finding the cards I need to win the game.
Yeah,
I almost
I
wonder
think
if
it's
like you would. I really wish there was like a supporter that let me grab like 3 energy and put them in my hand from the discard. Because
if
I feel
only.
like my only concern with that deck is there's
Wait,
no way to supporter reset energy.
I think there is one now that I'm thinking about it. I may have lied to you before. I think that we have Lana's Aid.
There was a Lana's Aid. There is Lana's Aid. Put up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon that don't have a rule box and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. So we in fact have the card.
So it's possible.
So the dream lives. Dango lives. But I think that also will depend.
Yeah.
How that matchup feels before then, and like does that fix the matchup in any way that you find is significant, versus like having a more or less dead card that's like only for Guardy, and it's like is that like you know what I mean? Like I think my rule with tech cards is if it isn't a deck that I expect at least 5% of, and it makes it at least from a not 50-50 to better than 50-50, if I can't do both those things, I don't see the point to it.
No, I agree.
I've always been a play the most consistent deck you can find, and you'll win games.
Yeah, and being Golden Go felt really consistent in our testing. Uh, I don't really have much to say from anything else. Everything else felt pretty fine. Bolt was consistent. It felt fine.
Sure.
Again, it doesn't really gain anything from the next set.
Doesn't lose anything
Um,
either. Yeah, like nothing
yeah,
gets significantly better that Bolt doesn't have a good
doesn't
matchup into.
doesn't gain much, doesn't lose much. So
Yeah, like
I think it's fine.
I think you continue to have a good Dango matchup, or like it doesn't make it worse by any means. Like
Yeah,
Dango
and I mean
before
they.
isn't struggling to knock out bolts.
Yeah, and I mean like the Guardy matchup felt fine, just because you can live off Sadas.
Yeah,
Just gotta be really careful with your energy
sure.
and what you're discarding, stuff like that. Um, yeah, outside of that, we really didn't get to touch other things I really wanted to touch on. Really wanted to rebuild Charizard around like movements. So having Air Balloon and Charizard, I think, is really good. I don't have Pulsazard built, and I think that's gonna be a really good deck.
Yeah, I think that's a deck
Like
that's kind of
again,
popped off late in the format, and I think it continues to be good. I would
yeah, and I
agree with
think
that.
like with a card like again Air Balloon being able to move things really easily sort of changes the way that deck can get built. So yeah, I mean outside of that, I think the next format's gonna be really interesting. I'm excited to see what people bring to Worlds and
Sure.
how the meta shapes out. I'm really excited to see what we see, just because I think that for once we get a Worlds format that also is relevant for like the first few regionals of the season. It's crazy we're talking about this because it's only July and it's early July.
Yeah, I mean we're still, I believe we're 5 weeks away from the World still. It's
Yeah,
the 15th to the 17th, so we're still tomorrow. Because we're recording this on the 10th when this comes out on the 11th. We'll be 1, 2, 3. We'll still be 5 weeks from the World Championships, but I think that's just how this the summers go for Pokemon, right? Like they're just very slow. They're We're just kind of in a holding pattern, until the next season really starts in September. I think we're just kind of in that like,
just chilling.
tapping our feet and being like, okay, can we get the next thing, please?
Yeah, we'll get there.
We will definitely get there for sure.
But yeah, no, I really don't have anything much to add to the next meta unless you had some
I
interesting
don't
thoughts.
either. I was just thinking about what a great podcast this has been. It's been short. I just think like there's not that much to talk about, man. And like I don't know. I don't like the idea of just sitting here and being like, wow, this Bulbasaur out of the next set looks really good. I think it's got really good promise. Like you build like a Venusaur deck, it's gonna be really good. I mean, if you get if you get this 18 card combo, you can knock out a Bolt. I mean,
Yeah, I'm not really interested in talking about the new Mega set until we get past Worlds.
no, yeah, we need to be. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about megas until like September. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't want to.
Yeah, just past
Unless we
Worlds.
get some bonkers, like, leaks or like new cards.
I mean, we will see the new set list. It comes out in Japan in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll have a little bit to talk about that. But until then, this has been the PokeStop Podcast. We appreciate y'all watching again, as always. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think about the episode and how fun worlds outside of America would be. We will see y'all
Think
on
about
the
it.
next one. This has been the PokeStop Podcast. We'll see y'all later.
Peace.